You are already, and I love it because you're hungry. You're already there.
I could land a qualified lead later.
Direct to seller, typically your wholesale fee would be greater. So the amount you make per deal is higher. I'm a real estate investor. I'm sharing everything I know about subject to in a way that complete beginners understand. This guy is John Pratt, our fearless novice, diving headfirst into the world of subject to real estate deals. Watch as I start him on the path. I'm your guide, Kyle Kargas, and this is Subject to Real Estate Secrets, the path from moron to millionaire. Welcome to Subject to Real Estate Secrets, the path from moron to millionaire. If you're new here, a real estate subject to deal is when you take over the seller's mortgage payments because they can't afford it anymore and you get to own real estate without dealing with the bank.
Perfect.
So,
Awesome.
John, welcome back. Glad you're here.
Thank you. Yeah. I've been thinking about this all week. So it was a week ago when we recorded last, and it's all I've been thinking about.
Good. Taking over your life, right? It can really feel that way. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Right? It's a balance, excitement, but yet can be a little bit frustrating because you're trying to figure things out.
Well, it's a new way to think.
It's a new way to think, and we have to get you through that process, right? If you can remember everything that you've done for the first time you swam, right? You jump in water, you're splashing everywhere, you have no idea. Now you jump into the deep end, couldn't care less, and swim down to the bottom like an expert diver. And the goal is to walk you through this to get you to be that expert diver in your realm. So we've had a few episodes so far. Obviously, this is the conveyor belt. In previous episodes, I was like, hey, look, there's like 8 different seats here at this table. Where do you want to sit? And then you have answered that already, that you wanted to live up here. Yeah,
at first I thought, well, let's just start over here somewhere. But then the way you explained it, you said 99.9% of people, it makes sense to start at the beginning of the conveyor belt.
Exactly. Leverage the skills that you already have, because a lot of times you won't have these skills yet, but you can talk to people. You've been talking to people your whole life, John.
Right.
So we know where your seat is. Everyone else, they might have a different seat, but a lot of them might still be sitting in the same exact spot.
Yeah, okay? For when they start. We've already decided that on previous episodes, and now, in last episode, I gave you some homework beyond that. I said, okay, now we're zooming in here. Now, John, I needed you to answer 2 questions. Number 1, who are you talking to? Who is this avatar person? Is it a seller, the owner of the home, who we call the seller, or is it an agent? Because there's kind of 2 different people that you're going to be talking to. So I'll be expecting an answer today on that question. And the second part is the method. Cold caller, texter, mailer. Are you going to do LOI Blaster I talked about? I talked about using AI, prop.ai or something else, right? What would be your method? Those are your 2 things of homework. And I told you to record some of it. Did you make me a video? Yes, I have a video.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and play that video right now so I can see it as well.
Okay. All right, so based on what I think I know, I'm going with LOI Blaster. I don't know if you can see this. Reason being, I've seen some third-party reviews of AI cold calling tools from, not from prop.ai, but from other companies that provide AI cold calling, and it was kind of scary. Like, the AI sounded robotic, and after a few seconds, all of the callees, what am I trying to say? The people that this guy right here was trying to call, they kind of clued in like, oh, this is a robot, and it kind of turned them off. LOI Blaster goes direct to agents, and it's in written form, presumably in their inbox or something. And it's less back and forth, so it seemed like with homeowners and people you're calling directly, there's a lot of back and forth. They don't sense urgency. Oh, I'm at work. Oh, I'm doing this other thing. And they don't really get back to you, so it's hard to get them booked. Seems like with LOI Blaster, it's a little easier. You're talking to a professional, right? You're talking to an agent. It's a clean process. Agents either click the button to schedule or they don't. In my mind, again, this decision is based on what I think I know. In my mind, within LOI Blaster, I can put into the template like a call to action to schedule an appointment with a discovery call or with a closer. It's just less moving parts. Yes, it might be less money too, because the agent is involved in this deal, right? So that's a middleman. So that cuts out some of the opportunity. But again, it's just it seems like a much cleaner process. So I can either sell these leads outright to a partner with a closer, or the closer could take a cut from any deals they close. So yeah, I'm rolling with LOI Blaster.
I just watched the video.
Yeah.
It sounds like LOI Blaster, according to the video that I watched, right? is what you're leaning towards. Tell me a little bit more. There's probably
Yeah.
some information missing.
Yeah, so as far as the list we talked about last week, we'll talk more about that software to generate the actual list.
Yes.
That I then take and put into LOI Blaster. Why did I choose LOI Blaster? Because I want to talk to agents. At least I think I want to talk to agents.
So are you telling me the first answer to the first homework question?
Yes.
Who are you talking to, John?
Avatar agents, not direct to seller.
Okay.
But my avatar, based on what I think I know, is
And
agents.
why? Why
Because,
agents?
again, this is all based on what I think I know, so a huge asterisk to pretty much everything I say on the whole show forever, because I'm learning, is it seems like when I go direct to seller, like, yes, the potential is greater because there's no middleman, the agent.
Okay.
Like, based on my cursory research, it seems like it takes a lot to get to land that appointment, because there's a lot of back and forth. Maybe they're at work. Maybe they don't see the urgency of the situation, which is the reason they might be in foreclosure in the first place. Mm-hmm. And they'll go to their grave with this problem, for all I know. It's just hard to like touch base with them and get them on someone's calendar and sell the lead or help them advance forward. Whereas with an agent, to me, it seems like, well, look, they're at work. This is a professional. They want to at least look at these emails for an opportunity, because look, they probably have a house that's been on the market for 200 days. That makes them look bad. That's a lot of time they've spent on that house, and the listing is expired and all that stuff. So the agent could be in a position where they're hungrier for an opportunity than the seller, even though it cuts down on my opportunity, because they're the middleman.
Yes.
The agent has to.
Right. So you're not wrong when it comes to direct to seller. Typically, your wholesale fee would be greater. So the amount you make per deal is higher going direct to seller because there is no middleman. Okay? So super right on the nose. Good job. And the trade-off generally is, you're also correct, direct to agent would be easier to get a lead or any lead. And so usually there's a higher quantity of leads when it comes to direct to agent versus direct to seller. At least when it comes to convenience or ease of it, along with cost. That part didn't come into play with what you just told me, but at the end of the day, if you're gonna pull direct to agent leads, I did ask you, hey, how are you getting that list? That would be the agents then, in your case, which we'll talk about. What does that cost you? Versus if it was direct to seller, how are you getting their information? How much is it gonna cost you to contact them? And then your method, each method, it obviously costs different to cold call or text or send a mailer or LOI Blaster, etc. There's a cost to that. And sending it to agent, some of these work to agents, some of them only work to sellers, and vice versa. So there's a cost difference there too.
Like, I'm never going to send an LOI to a seller. They don't get it.
Yeah, they
it's
won't
junk
understand.
mail to them.
Exactly. They're
It's
not
not an
familiar with
opportunity
that method whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
And let's be honest, if you were just a seller at home and you just happen to get an email, what's the chances that you're going to look at that email, take it seriously,
Or even open it.
even open it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So does LOI, it sends out emails, not physical mailers. LOI Blaster.
That's correct.
Okay,
So the
got it.
second part, you are already, and I love it because you're hungry, you're already there. We got answer number one, who you're talking to. Number two is the method. We already know it's agent, and you're telling me LOI Blaster. So yes, for everyone watching as well, because they all don't know LOI Blaster, and you didn't know it before you went and did your research this week.
Yeah, this whole week I've been doing research about it. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so LOI Blaster is sending out an email to agents that have, once again, you're going to give the list. LOI Blaster does not give you a list and say, here are all the agents.
Yeah, it's just blasting.
We'll be talking about this, but you have to feed it. And you say, here's the list of people I want you to do this with. But LOI Blaster will send out this email, and in that email will have attachments. And that attachment will be an LOI.
Yeah.
Okay, it's called LOI Blaster. But what does LOI stand for? Letter of intent.
Yeah.
A soft offer.
Yeah.
And the software will write an offer for you basically and saying, here's a possible cash offer based on just percentages. Also, here is a creative offer. Subject to. That's what we're talking about.
So it takes all that data from the list and populates it into a template automatically.
Correct.
AI magic.
And automatically sends it out for you. You literally are putting the list in, hitting a couple buttons, and hitting send.
100 a day.
Now, there is some technicalities of stuff, right? Like where your email, you don't want to get hit with spam. Is it a brand new email address that you created, or is it one that you've had for a long time? Those different things will come into play to see if you can send 30, 50, 100, 300 a day.
Okay.
Okay, so that can
And then
vary
a percentage
quite a bit.
reply with interest.
Yes.
A percentage don't never hear from them again.
And what do you like
About the people that come back?
Yeah.
Me personally?
Yeah.
So whether I'm talking to direct to sellers with prop.ai or agents with LOI Blaster, what I like about the blast, they're inbound now.
Yes.
I blast out my prospecting tool, whatever,
Yes.
outbound, but then the ones who are interested come back to me
Yes.
inbound. That's what I
Yes.
like about it.
Exactly. That is the biggest benefit of LOI Blaster. Now, if you would have went with prop.ai, the AI calling, same thing, not email though, but
Yeah.
you are doing something to go out and reach out that's not you per se, and it's creating interest in inbound leads.
Yes.
Right? In LOI Blaster, you're sending it out by email and you're only getting either inbound leads through your email or phone calls.
Yeah.
Right? So now that's the best part about your time of that. You were able to be very efficient
Yes.
with your time here
Yes.
on sending that lead out because the software LOI Blaster would do all that hard work for you.
Yeah.
And now your time is mostly spent on responding to these people.
Huge for me because I don't want to spend to live in the machine, right? I just want to work on the machine.
Okay.
Whereas if I'm doing prop.ai, again, I could be wrong here, but I'm outbound cold calling, right? And then they say yes or no, I'm interested in setting an appointment or whatever the call to action is. And then I have to physically call them back. It's not a problem, it just takes time.
Sure.
And again, correct me if I'm wrong, whereas with LOI Blaster, I don't know if this would work, but I could put like a call to action, a big huge fat button in the email or something that says, look, just schedule, like self-serve schedule. Would they do that? Or would they want to talk to a human first and I schedule them when they call me?
John, you're coming up with
You know
some
what I mean?
solid ideas.
That way I could cut a step, but they're not able to, I'm not sure if they would be as qualified, because anyone and everyone's going to want to schedule a meeting. Whereas if I call
Would
them
people
back.
also be scheduling what if they're not interested and they just want to schedule?
And see if they're interested,
And
right?
not even see, right? Like, honestly, you're going to get people that, do you think if you get an email, do you love every email that shows up?
No.
No.
So I could add a step though. Let's say they're just inclined to click on the button, then I could add a filtering step in the automation.
True.
Like before they ever hit the calendar or see availability. Just like ask 3 questions that are relevant but annoying to people who don't want it.
Right.
And
Which
then they
is
filter
good
themselves
and
out.
bad.
Okay, go ahead.
Which is good and bad, right?
hear it, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that would be probably one of the most efficient ways to help automate and to filter out the bad leads. So you're not wasting time.
Mm-hmm.
The other side of the coin is always, are there potential leads being lost?
Okay.
Okay? And that's always going to be a battle. No matter going through this whole part, every single seat here, whatever your job is asking yourself, the way I'm doing my job, is there a better way? I need to be efficient, but yet I need effectiveness. What I love is efficiency with an idea like that, and it could be a good idea. The downside is, what do people like to do business with?
Humans.
Humans, right? A lot of times what's going to happen is with this LOI Blaster, they're going to not understand what the creative offer is.
Okay.
Okay? They're going to have questions. They might be intrigued by the sales price because a lot of times we're giving them full price. I'm like, ooh, I want to know more. But if any steps you make it more difficult to actually book is potential loss of that lead.
So I prematurely disqualify them.
You might have prematurely disqualified a person that could have been a good lead.
Okay.
So there's a balance there. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just letting you know that there is a delicate balance there. Typically what I'm saying, right, is most people aren't doing a button of some sort, but that could just because they haven't planned it or figured out how to do that, okay? I do think on a large scale, that could work. And then you just have to put what's gonna happen the more efficient you are. You're gonna have to get a bigger and bigger list because you're gonna go through them faster. Versus if someone says that they're interested or whatever, if you just call them up, have a conversation. Hey, great, I'm excited for you. I want to get this answered for you. Which one of the 2 offers were you interested in? The cash offer or the creative offer? Okay, got it. Let me get you set up right away with whoever. If it's going to be me, but whoever's watching, you need to go find your other people, your sales, your closer, etc. Whoever's going to jump on that call, whoever's calendar you're going to put them on.
Yeah.
Right? And be like, okay, great. Let's get you set up right away so I can get your questions answered. And let's see what should be created for you that would fit.
Yeah.
and be an actual solution.
So it sounds like what I thought was way off.
Okay.
In terms of the follow-up call, the time cost. So I thought there was a time cost savings with going direct to agent because maybe I could put in a CTA, a call to action button, you know.
Yep.
But it sounds like it's most efficient to just pick up the dang phone either way, whether I'm talking direct to seller, whether I'm talking to agent.
At least right now by what most people are doing.
Okay.
But once again, the only thing I'd say is if you calculated that the loss wasn't very great, maybe the button would be a great idea. Fantastic idea. If the loss percentage is high, it might not be worth it, okay? And it sounds like what you're basically saying is you were leaning towards direct to agent because of that, but also LOI Blaster. They are very, very similar with Prop.ai and LOI Blaster because both are doing an outbound event.
It's a cold contact.
It is a
to
cold
an
contact
avatar.
originally, but you're not having to do it besides pushing some buttons.
Yeah.
Both are the same that way. And then both are creating an inbound lead.
Yeah.
So the only question is, which one do you think would be either one more effective, etc., right? In your video, right, you talked about kind of AI, a little robotic, etc. That does exist and happen with even Prop.ai still right now. Every day it's getting better. I do think if you're going to go AI, I think Prop.ai is what I'd recommend. However, it's not going to be perfect yet.
Yeah, because I saw other AI videos where they're like, this guy was testing it, like I showed on the video, and it was like too robotic, and the guys, the people they were calling, like clued in, and it kind of turned them off. So I wonder how many are being turned off.
Correct.
They're being DQ'd because of the robot. You know, I don't know.
Now
Whereas
it's
with
almost
writing, AI at writing is like really good.
Exactly.
Better than humans. Whereas AI calling is not quite better than humans yet. So that's another reason I err, toward, at least as far as I know, AI calling.
Yeah.
I guess I haven't really tried.
That makes sense.
Specifically.
And here's the question then. Now it's almost by adding in your button on the LOI Blaster is almost making it kind of the same because you're like, if I'm adding in more possible error of filtering out inappropriately versus how much on Prop.ai are you losing out because of the AI falling short just slightly on either talking, etc. So I think the biggest thing here for you, John, for you and anybody watching, is to just make a decision.
Yeah, LOI Blaster.
Right, you're going with LOI Blaster.
And later, I could land a qualified lead later on someone's calendar, on a closer's calendar for the different avatar, for the direct to seller, right? Ultimately, later on, right? But to start,
and pick a company. Do you think Microsoft, IBM, those are computer companies, or your local Fry's food drugstore, do you think they only market to you in one way, John?
No, they grew into it.
Now, when you're starting, you should simplify, choose one way, LOI Blaster, right? But eventually you might be, hey, here's LOI Blaster, but that's through email and agent, and then you might be like, hey, you know what? Maybe now I'll do Prop.ai to call the agent because maybe they're better. Some of these agents are better on responding through a phone call than email. Or maybe you'll say, hey, for the same house, I'll do direct to seller after it expires, so now there's no agent because LOI Blaster won't work for them.
It's a mix and match.
See? So as you grow, just know there is further and further kind of rings for you, and that's the best part about real estate and business in general, so I'm excited for that.